Good evening, councillors and members of the public. Nice to see you all. Before I start with the agenda, I would just like to say I'm very pleased to share some excellent news with you today. Tendring District Council has recently undergone a full reassessment, a rigorous re-accreditation process of its Disability Confident Leader status, and I'm proud to announce that we have successfully maintained the accreditation for a further 3 years. This is a significant achievement and one that reflects on our ongoing commitment to being an inclusive, supportive and forward-thinking employer. The Disability Confidence Scheme, led by the Department for Work and Pensions, is designed to help employers recruit and retain those people with additional barriers to employment. Being recognised as a leader, the highest level of the scheme, means that we are not only meeting the standards expected, but we are also actively champion disability inclusion both within our organisation and across our wider community. The recognition is a reflection of our values and of our people. I'd like to thank everyone involved in this re-accreditation and all our staff who contribute every day to making Tendring District Council a place where diversity is celebrated and inclusion is embedded in everything we do. Let's continue to build on this success and ensure that our workplace remains accessible, welcoming and empowering for all. In addition, I'm pleased to share another important development. Members will recall that at its meeting on the 25th of February, the Human Resources and Council Tax Committee was informed of the authority aspirations to become a fostering friendly employer through the Fostering Friendly Network. Following the committee's support for the adoption of this policy, I'm delighted to confirm that Tendring District Council has now received this accreditation. This further demonstrates our commitment to supporting employees with caring responsibilities and to fostering a workplace culture rooted in compassion, flexibility and community values. Thank you. I'd just like to add, I think, as a committee, we would also like to add that if we go back a couple of years after the Ofsted reports and things, which I think knocked everybody, to come back up to this standard. Well done to everyone. Okay. Right, to the agenda. Apologies for absence and substitutions.
Thank you, Chair. I've received apologies from Councillor Amos with no substitutions.
Item 2, minutes of the last meeting, which are pages 7 to 18. Can I confirm as a correct record? Can I have
I'll propose, Chair.
Thank you. All agree? Thank you very much. Item 3, declarations of interest. Councillors are invited to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests of non-registrable interests, and the nature of it in relation to any item on the agenda. Has anybody got anything? No? Thank you. Item 4, questions or notice pursuant to Council Procedure Rule 38.
Thank you, Chair. There are none.
Thank you. Right, item 5, career track verbal update. That's Debbie Ann. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to give you a brief update on Career Track and our progress over the last 12 months. So Career Track have a total of 48 apprentices on the programme at the moment, and out of the 48 we have 26 that are employed at Tendring District Council. We also have apprentices that are in Suffolk County Council, Essex, Kent and 2 of the London boroughs. We offer apprenticeships at level 2 in customer service and at level 3 in customer service, business admin, team leader and public service operational delivery officer. Our current success rate is 92%, so that's for the academic year 24-25, and that's an increase on last year's success rate, which was 89%. We're approved to deliver apprenticeships by the Department for Education via the Apprenticeship Provider and Assessment Register, and we are still an Ofsted Good provider following our inspection in November 2023. Before I finish, I'd just like to go back to the number of apprentices and let you all know that we currently have in Tendring District Council 1 in 5 of our current employees are or did start as a career track apprentice. Thank you very much. Is there any questions?
Councillor Guglielmi.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Debbie-Ann, for your presentation. It would be wrong of me not to say anything about Career Track, as I was involved for many years in through the thick and thin, through the high and the lows as well. Just like to congratulate you, because I've not seen you formally since the Ofsted's report, and that was an excellent achievement from yourself and your team behind you, and it is something quite unique. I don't know of any other authorities that, you know, even outside Essex, that have this kind of training, great training machine in place. And I know we'll probably be touching later on about LGR and things, but this will be something really, really important. And I would like, maybe, Madam Chairman, your permission to recommend to the leader and the chief executive, unless they've already done so, that Career Track should feature very, very high in the workings of whatever option we go forward, and will be a great vehicle to use to train and to all the success story that we've achieved so far over the course of the years. Remember, we celebrated the 40th anniversary about 3 years ago. That was, wasn't it, 3 years ago, and the very first officer who dealt with it, he came. Can't remember what his name was, but
Gordon Adams.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, Gordon Adams. Yeah, and I had a very long conversation with him, and he was chuffed to bits to see how much the service had progressed from the early gestation days. So well done. But I would very much like the committee to write to both the chief executive and the leader to ensure. I'm sure they've already got that on the radar, but it would be too much of a good opportunity to miss not to endorse it for us this evening, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? No? Yes, Katie.
Thank you, Councillor Guglielmi. I just want to take this opportunity to update you, to let you know and give you reassurance that, as you would expect, Ian advertised or spoke about Career Track at a recent national conference, obviously highlighting the success of the programme, and also Councillor Jeannie Placey is here this evening, and she will know that Cabinet recently gave their support in terms of Career Track very strongly, and we're already building, well, we already have very strong relationships with Braintree and Colchester, as you would expect, and Debbie-Ann is also working across Greater Essex in terms of, you know, continuing to develop the Career Track model. So, but we will absolutely, as officers, take that back on the committee's behalf. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you staying for the rest of the year? Thank you. Item 6, report of the Corporate Director, Finance and IT and Assistant Director, People, A1, Vibration Guidance, Best Practice for Managers. It is on page 19 to 52.
Oh, I'd press that, sorry. Not to be confused by my current job title, I also manage the health and safety team, which is why I'm with you this evening. So I'm here today to discuss the hand-eye vibration, full body vibration guidance document that's been got together for you. So this document we're presenting today to you basically relates to, as I said, whole body and hand-eye vibration, and it's relating to all employees using vibration equipment, and it's to seek the adoption of the document. So the main guidance document is shown at page 27 in your packs. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, this vibration guidance document was created in association with the Council's Human Resources team, and we had a working group of all the departments across the Council that fed into that, and they told us what they wanted in the report, and it's been created from those working groups really. So we already as an authority carry out all of these tasks. We just wanted to make a formal document to make sure that it's all covered in there, and that our staff can be clear and our managers can be clear in how we expect body vibration and hand-arm vibration to be dealt with across the authority. So workers can be exposed to vibration in many forms, and it's usually using handheld tools or standing or sitting on machinery such as mowers or other vehicles. Hand-arm vibration syndrome, it normally affects individuals that have prolonged and regular exposure to vibration. The higher the exposure, the greater the damage. We as an authority do carry out yearly health surveillance checks, and obviously these are recorded, and each year, if there's any issues, obviously that would then be escalated if there was any issues recorded relating to hand-arm vibration. There are regulations that govern how this authority should carry out their hand-arm vibration monitoring, and we take all that very seriously. This is the regulation, Control of Vibration Regulations 2005, and we have a responsibility to monitor our employees' vibration levels and monitor the equipment that they use. We also review the equipment to see if there's other forms of equipment that we can use. So we also use electric equipment which minimises the vibration. So we continually review different products coming onto the market to see which are the best products. We also limit the time spent that the staff spend on certain tasks. So if they know that a job is going to take quite some time, we will put more people on that job so that they can change around, so that we're limiting the amount of time they spend on one particular piece of machinery. So we do monitor that, and we monitor the tasks that the staff do on a regular basis to ensure that they're not going over their levels. If we did identify anybody that had any signs of hand-arm vibration, then obviously we would report that to HSE in the normal ways, and that's covered by the health and safety team that I currently manage. Okay, mention the yearly vibration. Mention that bit here. Okay, so the recommendation is to implement the vibration guidance, as I said, which is detailed on page 27 of your packs. And this document is to give, as I said earlier, to give our employees and our managers a clear guidance as to how we manage that as an authority across all the different departments that use these type of machinery. This would demonstrate the Council's commitment to support the monitoring of vibration management, and states the Council's expectations as an employer and those to be taken by the employer. We currently, as a health and safety team, already monitor the hand-arm vibration. We do regular checks on this, whether it be quarterly, half-yearly, depending on the team and depending how frequently we think how high the risk is to the authority. And the health and safety team monitors that. They check all the levels, they check that they're being recorded correctly. So I can give you those assurances that that is already happening, and it's been happening for some time. This policy is really just to put in writing the processes that have already been enforced for some time. So adopting the contents of the vibration guidance report provides a cohesive approach to vibration management across the Council. And I said it supports the staff and our managers. Any breaches in protocols that the health and safety team find will be reported back to in the assurance update that me as the health and safety manager gives to management team on a quarterly basis. So if we were to find any issues, we'd report that back. So that just again gives you that assurance that if we do find anything, there is a management structure in place to report that back. Okay, that's me done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillors, just to let you know, the recommendations are on page 20. Katie.
Thank you, councillors. And I'd just like to, if I may, just read those recommendations out. So it's recommended that the Human Resources and Council Tax Committee acknowledges that the council remains fully compliant with all relevant statutory obligations in relation to vibration-related risks and approves and adopts the council's vibration guidance best practice for managers to support the consistent and proactive management of such risks across relevant service areas, and also requests as a committee that officers report back to the committee 12 months following the implementation to provide an update on how the guidance has operated in practice, including any lessons learnt and proposed refinements. Thank you.
Councillor Guglielmi.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Claire. And I'm glad you said about your title. Nice to see you again. A couple of questions. One is around the understand the need of introducing this policy to support the vibration guidance and support managers to make sure that, and it must be said that this does not come about because of any issues. It's just to reflect and further protection of the people that in that sector. One question I have is the contractors, because obviously we do have contractors that carry out some of the work that the council cannot carry out. So that, how does that square up with, you know, with the requirement of the policy? And the other question I have, again, is linked to LGR. It's becoming quite apparent who we're going to end up with once LGR does happen, if it does happen. Are these policies aligned with Colchester and Braintree and potentially Uttlesford? That I don't know if you've got any, or you're any other officers. Thank you.
Okay, the first part regarding contractors, that would be carried out under a different rule, which is CDM rules. So that is construction design and management. So that would be whatever department they're working for, they would be expected to check that they have all of this in place for the companies. So it wouldn't be our responsibility, but our responsibility comes under the CDM rules, where basically we would need to check that that company has the right procedures in place, but we don't need to monitor them, we just need to monitor that they are. And your second question about Braintree and Colchester. Braintree and Colchester don't have monitoring. One, because Colchester had go out to a contractor, so they would check it under CDM, which we've checked with them today, and they do that. And Braintree don't have a guidance policy for HAVs. But they do have a comprehensive risk assessment, and that they feel that covers sufficiently what they need for their authority. I mean, you don't have to have one. We just think it's best practice going forward for our staff and our managers to make sure that there's clear guidelines as to how, as an authority, we want to continue monitoring for vibration awareness and everything. Okay.
Thank you. May I come back, Yeah, thank you, Claire, for your explanation. That's fine. One suggestion would be, as going forward, as we introduce more new policies or new strategies, would be quite sensible to make sure that the other partners that we look like we're going to end up with are aligned with us. That's all I'll say, but you know, that's quite clear. Thanks so much. Thank you. And I'm happy to propose the recommendation if no one else is.
Thank you. You've proposed, is there any more, Andy?
I'm quite happy to second, Chair.
Thank you. Is there any more questions? No? Thank you very much. Do you all agree? Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Are you staying or? Thank you. Item 7, report of the Assistant Director People, A2, Family Leave and Support Policy, which was formerly the Council's maternity policy, incorporating maternity, paternity, adoption, surrogacy and neonatal care provisions, pages 53 to 90, and your recommendations are on page 54. And I believe that's Jo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have great pleasure in presenting the report for this policy, which sounded a bit of a mouthful, but it's obviously, we've shortened it, obviously it's the family leave and support policy, but as you said, it covers quite a lot of policies. It was formerly known as just the maternity policy, but as we say, it's covering all sorts of different family leave, which is why we've changed the title. It outlines the rights and responsibilities of employees and managers in Associate, and incorporates recent legislation changes and provides guidance on health and safety obligations. And you were asked to consider and approve the implementation of this updated policy. Just to give some background, the council is committed to a diverse, inclusive and supportive working environment, and as part of this we've updated this policy. There has been recent changes in employment law, which was the introduction of the neonatal care legislation that came in April, which provided support to employees of up to 12 weeks paid leave where they've got a baby that's sadly admitted to hospital for neonatal care within 28 days of birth. The policy is also, if you look into the other parts of the report, you'll see that there is a lot of legislation in this area. It's a lot of very complex, and it's quite a long policy, because obviously to incorporate all the rights and entitlements, and what we've tried to do is provide a very clear and policies that people can dip in and out, because this is sort of a key time in people's lives. The policy covers entitlements to paid time off and return to work arrangements, responsibilities regarding maternity and parental provisions, and managerial guidance and expectations. I think a key thing as well within that is health and safety, and obviously we worked with our health and safety colleagues. It's very key that obviously, especially in maternity, breastfeeding, childcare, it's that there is those health and safety provisions, so making sure that people involve HR and their line managers early on to make sure that we can undertake appropriate risk assessments. This is a practice we've been doing, but we just want to sort of remind, it's mainly sort of, obviously sometimes it's the first time somebody's, pregnancies, maybe first time, people need to know what they need to do. Suddenly you're overwhelmed, you find you're pregnant, we've got to provide a good policy and clear to say people what they need to do. What we're also doing is recognising that we've got diversity of different family arrangements now with same-sex couples. We've included surrogacy, we've included foster to adoption placements, and also adoption from abroad. So it's we're much more sort of wider, different sort of setup of sort of family provision. What with the with the policy, as I said, it's quite detailed, but we've tried to incorporate that. However, we do know, and it was a bit of a decision whether to implement this policy now, because we do know with the Employment Rights Bill that there will be further changes to family leave and pay. However, we've incorporated that. We'll see in the recommendations that were given, asking the committee to consider that we might need to make future changes, because we know that there is a timescale of more sort of family leave coming through. Also, there's going to be sort of leave and support for pregnancy, loss during pregnancy, and also day one rights for parental leave. So we know those things are coming, but we thought, it's important that we, introduce this now, but knowing that over the next sort of 2 years, there's going to be further changes to this policy. So what, I'll just talk through the recommendations, which you'll find on page 54. It is recommended that the Human Resources and Council Tax Committee approves and adopts the Council's Family Leave and Support, formerly the Maternity Policy, which consolidates and updates various leave and payment arrangements, including maternity, adoption, neonatal care, parental and paternity. The policy can be found in page 61 to 89 of your pack. Also, the next bit is to authorise the Assistant Director of People, in consultation with the Head of Paid Services to make any necessary and consequential amendments to associated people, policies and procedures arising from the implementation of this updated policy. With that, we're referring to things like the staff handbook, because obviously, and other policies that may have some links in. So that's, you know, once you do one policy, you have to look back and see where the other policies. So that's what that's covering. And finally is what I was just touching on about with the Employment Rights Bill, is the authorises the Assistant Director of People in consultation with the Head of Paid Services to make any further amendments to this policy and associated policies as may be required to ensure compliance with future changes to the employment legislation, including those we anticipate with the Human Rights Bill, particularly in relation to family leave and support provisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Councillor Guglielmi.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Joe, for your presentation. It's a far cry from when we had our children. None of this was in place at all. It was like talking double Dutch, really, in those days. And, but it's amazing how many rights there are now, you know, especially on the adoption. There's so much there, so many safeguards on the adoption. It's unbelievable. And, you know, it's great that we have that. The one thing is my beat for small businesses might think twice about employing people that are likely to have a child, because obviously it's a massive, as as a chairman and I know, I've been running a small business for many years. It's a massive ask on a small, but you know, for an organisation such as we are here, it's right and proper that this is great. And my question, you're probably going to guess what I'm going to ask you. Are the other authorities aligned with our same policies? It would be wrong if I didn't, you know. It's a golden thread there, isn't it?
Can I? Yeah. Yes, basically. Obviously, quite a lot of this is statute, so, but we do enhance, obviously, maternity and so forth. So, all, you know, our neighbouring councils will also be adopting and have adopted the principles that we have, and I've been reviewing their policies. We are working very closely with our neighbours to ensure that we are knowing going forward where we're going, or we're proposing, and using that good opportunity to benchmark with each other. So we are working closely to ensure that policies in the future, especially HR policies, are aligned. So that is something we're working closely on. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And just to pick up on the point that Joe was making, obviously some of the entitlements are in statute, and those that are enhanced, obviously the council follows National Joint Council terms and conditions of employment, and those enhancements are stated within those national terms and conditions. So I just wanted to make that clear that they're not localised arrangements, they are part of national joint terms and conditions.
Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Chair. Very comprehensive report and a very comprehensive policy. When I read the report, I didn't realise, well, I think I did realise, but it must have been a bit difficult to put it all together, bearing in mind all the legislation all over the place. You'd think that government would try and make it simpler for us, wouldn't you? But no, not at all. It's a good policy. I'm quite happy to propose the recommendations as written.
Thank you. Can I have a seconder, please? Okay, do you all agree? Is there any more questions on this? No? Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Are you staying or? You're staying. Thank you. Myself. Item 8. Report of the Assistant Director People, A3, People Development Report. And I think Marcy is leading on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The People Development Report provides an update for members on the Council's training and development activities over the past year. The training data used in this report captures courses delivered over the past year, being the period of the 1st of July 2024 to the 30th of June 2025. This training and development supports the Council's people strategies aimed to build a skilled, inclusive and motivated workforce, particularly as we prepare our staff for the local government reorganisation putting our staff in the best possible position. Training within the council is delivered via several formats. Qualification training, where an employee is sponsored by the council and enters into a formal training agreement. This agreement requires an employee to pay back the training costs if they leave employment within a 2-year period. Qualification apprenticeships funded via the government levy. Apprenticeship training programmes in subject areas outside the career track delivery, and face-to-face in-house training. This includes training which is mandatory to our staff, for example, safeguarding and health and safety. In addition, our employees can request and apply for training to support their personal development in their role. There has been strong promotion and uptake of professional apprenticeship courses, which include 2 Masters in Environmental Health, 2 Masters in Town Planning, Accountancy Level 3, Higher Education Diploma, and 3 Association of Electoral Administrators Foundation courses. Some of these courses span several years of study and are still ongoing. The report also outlines the use of the Council's e-learning platforms. We currently use 2 systems, which are iHasco and Skillgate. iHasco tends to focus on health, safety and wellbeing courses, whereas Skillgate is more focused on improving skills and knowledge, for example, conflict resolution, IT skills, assertiveness training and communication skills. Both systems are used to deliver mandatory training such as safeguarding, equality and environmental awareness. A total of 5,014 e-learning courses were completed by staff in the past year, which includes both mandatory and voluntary training. In addition, a wide range of in-person training has been delivered, including mental health first aid, emergency management and customer care. There are also a number of non-career track apprenticeships being delivered, and the Council continues to fully utilise its government's apprenticeship levy, investing 100% into staff development and also accessing levy transfer funds from other organisations. In addition to the courses delivered via Career Track, we also deliver the following courses on our apprenticeship training programme: Level 2 in Leisure Team Member, Level 2 Horticultural Construction Operative, Level 2 Digital Marketing, and Level 3 CIPD Learning and Development. As the rules regarding accessing funding for the Level 7 apprenticeship is changing in January, we are currently promoting the level of study among our senior management. As a result, we currently have town planners, environmental health officers, IT specialists and accountants who are all keen to enrol. Focusing on workforce planning will aim to reduce our reliance on agency staff, being more cost effective in gaining additional resources. One-to-one reviews are currently taking place with assistant directors to identify any skills gaps within their teams and establish our critical roles. Career graded posts are being reviewed to ensure staff are given every opportunity to progress and work to their full potential. We currently have 389 posts with career grade schemes, supporting internal progression and succession planning. Continued investment in staff development supports resilience, retention and readiness for organisational change as we prepare our staff for LGR while maintaining value for money and legal compliance. This report ensures members are updated and informed on workforce development and succession planning across the organisation. The formal recommendations for this report can be found at page 95 of the document pack, and it is recommended that the content of this People Development Update report be noted. I would welcome any questions, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councillor Baker.
What a fantastic report. You know, all that training and qualifications and doing what we do, I think I think we should recognise that our staff want to learn, they want to improve themselves, and they want to do the best for our residents. And this proves that, I think. I just have one question, which is obviously the e-learning and everything else. There's a lot there. I presume that if an employee, one of our staff, asks for some time to be able to complete that within working hours, that would be allowed or granted?
Thank you, Councillor Baker. Yes, staff are encouraged to complete their training programmes during their working day, and they can access those training courses from their computer at their desks and at any time which is convenient to them to undergo the training.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Marcia, excellent report. So many headlines, numbers there, that's unbelievable. And might have to embarrass you a little bit now. When you were given the role that you have now, you were meant to put in place enough training for staff to migrate, as you mentioned in your presentation, to the LGR. I think it's to say they hit the ground running, it's an understatement. So this is really, really incredible. So well done, extra well done. I'm surprised you haven't asked the question I was going to ask if other other authorities are doing the same. So I'll leave you to come back to me on that. But one question is, what's professional boundary training?
Good question, Councillor Guglielmi. And Claire's left us, and obviously it's arranged by Health and Safety, but what that is a course put in place to safeguard our staff, to ensure that professional boundaries in terms of service users are maintained. So it depends, obviously, its application depends on what role somebody's in, but it's very much about meeting our duty of care to the service user and maintaining, you know, that professional boundary and that professional sort of relationship between us as the service provider and the service user. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think there would be anything to do with boundary changes, you know, the professional. After so many we've had so far, we've become quite professional with that now. But yeah, no, the other really is, you know, are the other partners doing the same as what we're doing, or are you doing a bespoke thing so that our staff are in the best possible place when LGR does come in?
We're working very closely with both Colchester and Braintree at the moment. They use a slightly different e-learning practice to us. They use something called Learning Pool. So one thing we would need to look at moving forward is the alignment of our e-learning platforms as we head towards LGR. But we've also looked at where we can deliver cross-training across all three of those organisations, because there is some generic training requirements across management levels, which we'd be keen to join up with our counterparts to see if we could deliver that across all three organisations. And as you know, I'm working very closely with both of those so that I can cross-work with them moving forward.
Thank you, Chair. And just to add to what Marcia was saying, through our existing networks, and they've been in place for a long time, we're part of the VINE network that includes a number of authorities that work across kind of Greater Essex, particularly North East Essex. So we will have access to training via that network, and quite often it allows us to procure certain training courses that obviously we would not have, you know, access to. Well, we would, but we would have to procure it ourselves, whereas actually there's greater sort of buying power in terms of working across the network. And also it gives us greater breadth of training provision for our staff, because 9 times out of 10, if somebody within that network has procured some training, it will be, you know, rolled out or asked if we would like to be part of that training programme. So it just gives us greater breadth in terms of the development opportunities available to staff.
Thank you very much, Katie. That's really, obviously that's what the meaning of all this is about. And it's really, really great to hear that you're giving so much opportunity to our staff, because it must be very unsettling time. But again, we talked about this last time we met, how the impact on staff, but you're doing everything you possibly can to ensure that they're in a good place and that they're well placed to kind of go forward to whatever the future is going to look like. So if anyone else proposing, I'm happy to propose the recommendation. Madam Chairman.
Thank you, and I need a seconder. Thank you. And any other questions, and do you all agree? Thank you very much. Before I close the meeting, it's really remiss of me not to have done this at the beginning, but I wanted to welcome Amy to this committee. Hope you haven't been thrown in. Thank you. You should have done. I hope you haven't been thrown in at the deep end. So, no, you're okay. And also to welcome Marcia, who hasn't sat in on any of these meetings yet, or until tonight. So I hope you'll come back again. Thank you. The end of the agenda, so I'd like to close the meeting. Thank you very much. You should have kicked me.